You finally did it. You saved up, watched hours of benchmarks, compared specs until your brain hurt, and pulled the trigger on that shiny new upgrade. Maybe it was a faster CPU, maybe a brand new GPU, maybe you rebuilt the entire system. You booted up for the first time, expecting that wow moment. And instead, you get something weird. It's fine. Not bad, not broken, just not what you expected. Games feel a bit smoother, but the stutters are still there. The old problems, still there, and you're sitting there thinking, wait, did I just waste my money? Here's the thing. In 2026, the biggest PC upgrade mistake isn't buying the wrong hardware. It's not AMD versus Intel or Nvidia versus AMD. It's something way more subtle and way more frustrating. It's upgrading power without fixing the foundation. Look, I see this constantly. People throw hundreds or thousands of euros at performance, expecting a transformation when the real bottleneck was never the hardware. It's like putting a jet engine into a car with flat tires. Sure, it's more powerful, but you're not going anywhere faster. And I know what you're thinking. No, my system was definitely slow because of the hardware. Maybe. But statistically? Probably not in the way you think. Data from performance tools shows that a huge chunk of slow PC complaints, often over 60%, come from software inefficiencies, bad configs, or background processes, not raw hardware limits. That's not a small number. That's the majority. So let's talk about the real mistake. The biggest upgrade mistake in 2026 is upgrading your components before fixing how your system actually behaves. And yeah, that sounds less exciting than buying a new GPU. But it's the difference between a PC that feels okay and one that feels instant. Let me show you what I mean. You install a high-end GPU. Launch your favorite game. FPS goes up, great. But then, stuttering. Micro stutters. Frame pacing issues, so you tweak settings. Reinstall drivers. Maybe blame the game. But the truth? Your system is choking. Background tasks, outdated configs, inefficient scheduling. Your new hardware is just waiting, while your system feeds it data like it's stuck in traffic. Yeah, that's the part no one likes to hear, because buying hardware feels productive. Fixing your system feels tedious, but one gives you a temporary boost. The other unlocks everything. Let's dig deeper. Modern operating systems, especially Windows, are complex. Not in a bad way, but in layers. Background services, startup apps, telemetry, updates, drivers, power profiles, memory systems. It's more like running a city than a machine. And if that city is poorly managed, it doesn't matter how powerful your engine is. Traffic still builds up. Here's a simple way to think about it. Your CPU is the brain. Your GPU is the muscle. But your operating system, that's the nervous system. If the signals are messy or delayed, the muscles don't matter. And this is where people go wrong. They assume performance scales linearly with hardware. It doesn't. It scales with efficiency. Let me give you a real example. Two identical systems. Same CPU, GPU, RAM. One is clean and optimized. The other is cluttered. Startup apps everywhere. Messy drivers, background services running wild. The difference? Sometimes 20–40%. Same hardware, completely different experience. That's insane when you think about it. And yet, people upgrade instead of fixing that gap. Here's what's even more interesting. In 2026, hardware is already powerful. Even mid-range systems can handle most workloads, if configured properly. So the gains from upgrading are getting smaller, while the gains from optimization are getting bigger. That flips the strategy completely. Instead of asking, what should I upgrade next? Ask, what's holding my system back right now? Because most of the time, it's not what you think. Let's break down the hidden bottlenecks people ignore. Startup behavior. Your PC boots and launches a dozen apps you don't need. Each one small, but together they create friction. Like running with extra weight, driver inconsistency. Not just outdated, messy. Mixed versions, leftovers, partial installs. That leads to instability, stutters, weird behavior, power settings. This one's wild. People spend thousands on hardware, then run balanced mode that limits performance. Great for laptops, not for desktops, storage health. Fast CPU, strong GPU, but slow or cluttered storage. That kills load times and responsiveness. And then, the big one. Background processes. Modern systems run tons of them. Some are fine, some are just noise. And that noise adds latency, the kind you feel, even if benchmarks look okay. The worst part, it builds slowly. You don't notice it. You adapt until you upgrade, and it feels underwhelming. Because the real issue was never fixed. I'm not saying hardware upgrades are useless, they matter. But they should be the final step, not the first. Think of it like this. Optimization unlocks your current potential. Upgrading expands it. Skip the first, and you never fully benefit from the second. So what should you do? Audit your system. What actually runs? What do you need? Clean your drivers properly. Not just update, clean. Fix your power settings. Let your hardware perform. Monitor behavior, not just FPS. Look at patterns and simplify. Remove what you don't need, because performance often comes from removing complexity, not adding to it. Look, buying hardware is fun. It feels like progress. Optimization feels like maintenance, but one gives you a short boost. The other gives you lasting performance. And here's the best part. Once your system is actually optimized, upgrades feel amazing. Every improvement is real, consistent, noticeable. Noticeable. That's when you finally get that wow moment. So before you upgrade, pause. Not to stop you, just to do it right. Ask yourself, is my system already performing at its best? Or am I stacking new power on top of old problems? Because the biggest mistake in 2026 isn't choosing the wrong part, it's upgrading before you're ready to benefit from it. And the good news, that's fixable. Not with more money, but with better decisions. Start there.